Skarloey Railway is always very busy in summertime. Tourists come to the railway to marvel at the sights and the little engines that work on it. They like to go up to Lakeside, where the fresh waters gleam in the sunshine and the castle stands proudly by the lake. Skarloey and the other little engines love working in the sun, but sometimes it can get hot.
Oh, my boiler's burning,
groaned Skarloey as he came back to Crovans Gate one day. What is wrong? Said Sir Handel.
My boiler feels hot. Is this weather? Replied Skarloey.
Oh, you'll need to toughen up, said Sir Handel. The weather is nothing to me. Off to work. Skarloey just ignored him. Then he heard a voice that he did not like.
Railways are no good. Pull 'em up, turn 'em into roads. Pull 'em up, turn 'em into roads.
Oh, not him!
Groaned Skarloey. George the Steamroller rumbled past.
Railways are no good. Pull 'em up, turn 'em into roads. Pull 'em up, turn 'em into roads. Little engines are no good. Flatten them in the scrapyard. Yeah.
Why don't you just go roll off the side of a mountain?
Retorted Skarloey. Rheneas puffed in. Yes, I'm afraid that George is around this railway. He's doing some repairs to the road.
I thought that was why,
said Skarloey.
I saw those cones by Cros-ny-Cuirn.
Yeah, that's why he's here, said Rheneas. George loved to make his presence known to the engines. Every time they passed by, he would make rude remarks.
Little engines are no good. Flatten them in the scrapyard. Rip up railways. Turn them into roads.
How about you go roll over yourself? Retorted Peter Sam. But they all remembered the time when Sir Handel tried to best George, and they started teasing him about it. Will you not remind me? Snapped Sir Handel. I would like to have a rest without being reminded of this rubbish roller.
Rubbish roller, you say? Said Skarloey. Oh, that's exactly what he is.
Laughed Duncan. Exactly. You know, it would be a good idea if he probably works at the waste dump with Whiff and Scruff. Then he can keep away from us and they'll have to put up with him.
Well, listen up, said Duke. He will cause nothing but trouble to them, like he's been doing to us. So I wouldn't mind what you'll say, Duncan.
Duncan said nothing. They saw George rolling by their shed, shouting as usual.
Railways are no good. Turn them into roads. Pull them up. Turn them into roads.
Duncan decided that he was going to try and put George in his place. I've got a good idea. He stopped where George was working. Hey, what is green and rolls along the road? He asked cheekily.
I haven't got time for your silly jokes.
Oh, you'll love this one. It's a rubbish roller. Ha ha ha! And Duncan popped away, leaving George fuming. Every time Duncan passed George, he would throw another insult at him. You're the trash roller. How about you go to the rubbish dump and roll over some trash? Ha ha ha! Duncan had become so conceited that he began boasting in the shed. And then I began telling him that he was going to roll over a bottle and it would knock his roller off.
That is quite enough, Duncan,
said Skarloey crossly.
You are becoming like Sir Handel is.
Speaking of which, where is he? Just then, the Think Controller arrived. Skarloey, I need you to go and collect Sir Handel. His safety valve has burst, and he needs your help.
Right.
Sir, why did his safety valve pop? I don't know, Duncan, replied Mr Percival. Skarloey puffed quickly away to find Sir Handel. He was fuming and couldn't move an inch. Thank goodness you're here, Skarloey. That road roller has really bumped me this time. He was blocking my path. I couldn't get past, and now I was running so fast that my safety valve burst. I see. Sir Handel didn't say another word while Skarloey rescued the train. But then there was more. Just before a level crossing, they saw George comfortably sitting on the crossing. Skarloey's driver put on the brakes. Skarloey whistled furiously.
Out of the way!
You will not be going anywhere,
said George.
I want to get past. Sir Handel is broken down because of your insults and your laying about.
Well, I have right of way because I'm a road vehicle.
You don't have the right of way. We have the right of way.
Skarloey whistled angrily. Skarloey decided that he had had enough. He inched slowly towards George, gave him a fright. George was so startled that he ran into some bushes.
Well, the way's clear now, so let's get going,
said Skarloey, and he puffed away with Sir Handel. The Think Controller was keen to give some stern words to George. You have been causing nothing but trouble, he said severely. I will have your roller taken away, and you are going to be working at Whiff's waste dump. George gulped. He didn't like the sound of the waste dump. But next morning, he was taken to the waste dump and had his roller removed. You'll be staying here for at least 2 weeks, said Mr Percival. George gulped. All he could do was cut up rubbish with his fly. He didn't like the smell, and he didn't like Whiff or Scruff either. They all found it a great job. You know what this is? Asked Scruff innocently. I think I know, replied Whiff. It's George the Rubbish Roller. And they both laughed hysterically. Poor George wished he hadn't been so naughty. After his punishment was over, he returned to work at the roads at Cros-ny-Cuirn. This time, he said nothing to the engines, but they all noticed as he passed. Peter Sam couldn't help but laugh. Well, well, it looks like you had a good time at the rubbish dump, did you? George said nothing. Well, if you act like that again, that is where rubbish rollers like you will go. And he puffed away cheekily. George had nothing to say in his defence. He knew Peter Sam was right. Well, I don't think he's learned from this. Don't you?